Good afternoon. So my name is Ville Heijari. I work for Bungle. We build infrastructure for in-app video advertising. And I want to talk about like some actually pretty basic rules about in-app video advertising and in-app advertising user experience. So how to really do modern advertising instead of shitty banners. My presentation title is Monetize, Don't Compromise. So you don't want to compromise your user experience, even though you want to crank up like every knob of monetization and build a profitable product. So as someone was, I hear a lot of people talking about that latest episode of South Park, where one of the golden rules of free-to-play gaming is to make the game barely fun, so you can pay to have more fun. So I would say that with advertising, it's the same thing, that advertising shouldn't be an obstacle, which maybe then coaxes a person to like purchase and opt out of advertising. But it should always like be almost treated as like a feature of your product. So why do we use advertising? Well, obviously, like the most successful products in the mobile space these days are free. At least they're free to download. You can spend money on them, yes. But you, as a developer, as a publisher, if you're an indie developer, let's say, how do you start building your product? You need funding. You need some kind of seed investment. Maybe you have a Kickstarter campaign, crowdfunding, good for you. But then you launch your product, you need to generate revenue. And if you have a low average revenue per user, you need to have alternative revenue streams in there. And obviously, advertising is pretty much the way to go. We don't choose to show ads because it's so cool to have ads in your game and I really want to like push my competitors' products. We do it only for the purposes of generating revenue. So we want to find the best possible ways, the least intrusive ways of making putting interesting advertising into a game in ways that actually benefit the player, that make the players want to watch the ads, rather than force the players, disrupt their gameplay, watch the ads. The core problem with mobile advertising is that it's terrible. It's absolute garbage most of the time. Mobile ads suck. I didn't say it. Steve Jobs said it in 2010. Bless his soul. And why they usually suck is that from a publisher's perspective, for example, somebody comes and sells you the idea of, let's make some money with advertising. They're selling you this. And you're making a product for your customers, your players, your end users. You're making this product as well. But what happens with typical traditional ad implementations, the end product is somewhere like here. So it's from a publishing perspective, you're going to perform terribly. From a player user experience perspective, you're just going to ruin the user experience if you're sloppy. So I want to go back from 2010 to Sao Paulo in 2006. What happened in Sao Paulo in 2006? Anyone? So the city of Sao Paulo enacted the Clean City Law. They had so much billboards, not actually Sao Paulo, I think this is New York. Anyway. They had so much billboards that they started calling it visual pollution, that they wanted to get rid of it. And the mayor of Sao Paulo pushed for a Clean City Act, which banned completely certain sizes and shapes and scales of billboards across the city. So they essentially cleaned up the entire city. I'm not saying that we should clean up the mobile applications entirely. But I mean, you know, if we're not careful, where does it end? Like, you know, if we just start pushing this traditional, ineffective advertising, how do we really like, you know, are we really making our products better? We might make some money in the process. So, if we say that like banners breaking the game flow, ruining your games, it's broken. No, don't worry, we can all fix this. Like briefly, why do we use banners? Like, why did this even start? It's basically it used to be the only game in town. So I used to work for Rovio back in 2010. Small game, Angry Birds, was getting kind of big, and we were getting ready to. It had like 20 million downloads on iOS, and we were getting ready to launch it on Android. And back then, Google Play didn't exist. Android market was absolutely terrible. There was no IAP payments available in many markets. Most markets were using like some kind of operator SMS billing and so on. And Google Wallet didn't exist. Google checkout process was very clunky. So you couldn't generate any revenue even if you wanted to. So really the only option to put the game out there was to count on the fact that it was already very popular, so it would also be very popular on this other platform, and make it free, put ads in there. So why were the banners there? Because that was the only game in town back then. So there was really like very, very few alternatives to making anything cooler or making it more efficient. So I don't think like that this Android version of Angry Birds Space was for example, enhanced by these banners. But it was out of necessity, because that was the best tools available at the time. But still, even this year, we see like hit games emerging from weird places and weird concepts. And what do they opt to? They default to banners. And on nest-besting the banners, static interstitials, which completely break the game flow, completely interrupt the player. And this is not just like, it can be small indie developers, with even big publishers. This is like, I think that what we need more is just education on how we can do things better. So somebody like Rovio, massive publisher, what are they doing today? Not so much banners, I guess they're still in the mix, but you have an opt-in control for the player. So for example, here in Angry Birds Star Wars 2, you get the bonus, nicely like a Star Wars branded thing, where you get to like bonus characters which are frozen in carbonite, and you can start melting them, which takes a lot of time. Or you can melt them instantly with currency, or by watching a video ad. So you use that video ad option as something that the player actively chooses and opts in to watch the ad. Same here, Breakfinity, nice, small, little, elegant indie game by Ville Heijari. This is like an endless brick breaker Arkanoid clone. So you bash through small levels and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster, and then you die. And you can buy an extra ball using a diamond, which you earn in the game, or purchase with money, or you can watch a video to continue playing. So in this Temple Run example, instead of banners, you can die, or you can fail in the game, and then you choose to revive and continue playing. So the player has the chance to use currency or to opt in to watch a video. And then they get 15, 30-second video ad, and the ad runs, and basically, okay, fair enough, dismiss the ad, spin a wheel, get a power-up, continue playing. So the advertising becomes like a feature in your game. And to an extent where, for example, we provide video advertising, some of our publishers, more and more publishers these days, they do really sophisticated ways of segmenting their audiences. So you make different buckets of users. These are the people who play on iPhone, these are the people who play on iPad, these people come from Germany, these people come from the USA, and most importantly, these people are paying money. These people are making in-app purchases, they're your paying customers. These people, the majority, they're not spending any money. They are non-paying customers. So what do? For your paying customers, you want to maximize their engagement, keep them spending money, so you switch off advertising to make the game as clean, makes the experience as clean as possible. And for the non-paying customers, maybe you switch on something, more advertising. So in the case of one of our publishers, they switched off all advertising for their paying customers. And they started instantly getting negative reviews and negative comments on this free option suddenly going missing. So even the people who were spending money see this as a gameplay feature. They want to watch an ad to continue playing. Then maybe they go into the in-game store and buy some coins to buy character customizations or something. But they see a very well executed advertising implementation as an essential feature in the game. So, what could possibly go wrong when we implement advertising like this? What is the absolute worst thing that can happen? What is it? Well, maybe it's a poor network connection. You can't show the ad, it won't stream. There's an error, something went wrong in the encoding. The file got corrupted on its way to the device. Maybe I'm on a holiday in Germany, but I don't speak German, or nor do I want to buy a Kia, but I get like some random contextual advertising. It doesn't make sense. This is an actual example from an indie game. Here's where I would have my ads on if I had any. So you went through the trouble of putting this interstitial box there when you don't even have like fill for the ad placement. How is this a good experience? So not only the placement, then there's the advertising content itself. Most ad networks are pretty smart today. I'm not sure if they're still built by smart people, case in point, but the algorithms at work at ad networks tend to be pretty smart. So they know which ads to serve to which devices, playing which games, based on conversion and based on context. So if you're an advertiser, if you take a look at that side of the equation for a second, you have also like the option of having more relevance to all of your campaigns. So your campaigns, like whether it's about localizing them for different markets, different languages, whether you're promoting, let's say, new features, new updates, and some kind of new content for existing players, maybe, or if it's like a holiday season and a happy zombie Santa. But these are all things that make the advertising more interesting in the given context for the players. And it's not like I love it when this is actually something that comes from the developers. So developers started building this functionality, and one of the gold standards in indie development is Nimblebit from the US, and make like Tiny Tower, Disco Zoo, really nice like retro pixel graphic games, beautiful games, and basically like they swear by the opting ad game flow. So traditionally, you choose to show interstitials, you break the game flow. No matter how natural positions you find in the game placements, after a level, after every 5 levels, you're still gonna boom, like slap an ad on the player's face. Whereas in the opt-in game flow, the option is there. It's out of the way. The player can just choose to play the game, they can spend money, they don't care about ads, they don't have to see ads. But they can choose, they can opt in and watch an ad, get a reward, get a bonus, get some kind of benefit. In one case, there's an app out there which has an option to watch an ad. No incentive, no reward, anything. People watch tons of those ads. It's just like, what does this button do? I'm bored, I want to see an ad, whatever. I want to find something new. And in Nimblebit's case, they've been pretty explicit that video advertising is a substantial revenue driver for them. So in some of their games, they're driving, this goes to 50% of the total revenue of the app from video ads, and the rest from in-app purchases. So is it then, if we just choose we have the opt-in, we found the nice placement, your player dies, he has an option to retry, so we're going to integrate video. What is the best possible integration you can think of? Is it just enough if you add a button to watch a video? So I just wanted like to show like a really, really smooth integration. So here's like a mid-core strategy game, like urban style. So there's this billboard which actually has the visual cue there. So the player can see that there's some action there, and you could even think that they can have like a preview of what the ad is going to be. So they already see that there's something interesting there. Dead pop, I want to see dead pop. What is dead pop? So you play the game, you see the visual cue, you have the billboard, you have the frame styled in the theme of this game, you choose to watch the ad, and it's just seamlessly integrated. And you can think about different strategies for framing things and the call to action of actually watching the ad, and how do you tie it more into the game experience so it's very well connected. And then you dismiss the ad, you're back into the game. So in conclusion, opt-in. There's no reason to just slap ads there and force players to watch them. You have video advertising. You can even have like static, more traditional advertising that people can choose to view. And you're still going to have a relatively high monetization opportunity there. No technical hiccups. I wanted to use the F word, but I've been told I use it too much, so I toned it down a little. So basically, if you're streaming ads, make sure that the audience sees them. Make sure that doesn't crash the application, doesn't cause problems. If something goes wrong, the users have a way to go back. You have to treat this as a feature of your app, a feature of your game. So if this is like a restart mechanism, or whether the player has a chance to earn something, they will start getting into the habit of using it as if it's a game control mechanism. So like every single time, if I use this restart to continue running in Temple Run, whichever game, it has to be as reliable as if I'm playing Mario and I expect Mario to jump when I press A. Does it jump when you press A? I have no idea. So can't jump on every 5th try or something like that. It has to work every single time as a gameplay feature. And smooth integration. Sure, you can have like a clunky box, watch a video, yes, no, maybe. But the more integration you have, the more polished execution. Think of it as a game feature, and there you go. That's the level of detail, that's the level of quality you want to put into it. And that's all I have today. Thank you very much. Any questions? All clear? Sorry, I can't hear you at all.
Thank you. Isn't it a little irritating that you even have like an option for ad? I think if you constantly get it in the middle of the game, like you gave an example of the guy that's running and then you get the option suddenly. Isn't it irritating for players?
Well, like I said, there's cases where players actually have it's been removed and they want it back because they want to have that feature available.
Okay, thank you.
So I mean, obviously there's always personal preference, and maybe that endless runner continue playing. Maybe that's not the end-all, most optimal, beautiful execution in the world ever. But then, if you think of this mid-core placement, for example, that's sort of more passive and out of the way, and you sort of learn that it's there and start using it, I guess then it would become like you say, less irritating, right? Anybody?
Mm-hmm. Hi. I want to ask you, what do you think about, should we warn users that we will clean up the game if you buy some package or some unit or something else?
I think that's something that many people are doing, but I honestly think with a very well-defined and planned opt-in placement, you can have both. You can have your purchases, you can even have an option to get rid of everything, but I honestly believe that most people won't care about whether the ads are there or not if they're out of the way. They're not in the way of the gameplay. But in any different kind of execution, if you're talking about like non-opt-in, I think it's a pretty standard thing to do to have a purchase that's like high value enough where you can then switch off the ads for the users. All right, I think we're good.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
So you're between the publishers and the advertisers, yes?
Yeah, so we work with being publishers. We work with publishers and we work with advertisers.
Which kind of people do like you the most? So do the publishers like you the most or the advertisers?
Everybody likes us.
Everybody likes you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ville.
Thank you.